Welcome to the second half of Bebop to Hip Hop. John Cavanagh here on BBC Radio Scotland, 92 to 95 FM, 810 medium wave on digital and online. In this hour of the show, my special guest is Jarmila Xymena Gorna. We've been playing stuff from her album Hashgachah for some time on the programme. Really good to catch up with her. Here's Jarmila. The Swallow's Flight Dream from the album Hashgachah by Jarmila Xymena Gorna. And I've said that many times on the programme and always wondered if I've pronounced it correctly, but I've never said it sitting face to face with Jarmila herself. How do we do?
I'm very impressed, John. You're great. Jarmila Xymena Gorna.
Sounds even better. Welcome to Be-Bop to Hip Hop. We've been enjoying the album on the show for some months, and we find you live in Scotland now. The album was my introduction to your music. You've lived in the UK for 15 years. What was the road up to making this solo album?
Oh, what a long journey. How do I encapsulate it? I think I was trained to become a classical pianist, and then I injured in a process of practicing very hard, using probably a faulty technique. I injured my forearms and had to somehow redirect my musical interests, and rediscovered or discovered and developed my voice. Subsequently, I was accepted by the Academy of Music in southern Poland, in Katowice, on a faculty of jazz and popular music. So that is already a couple of influences. I was also very interested in obviously in rock, in the mainstream pop music as well, and very much interested in the world and folk music and ethnic music of all different types of parts of the world, which you probably hear all of it being reflected slightly in my current compositions. I suppose it's unavoidable, even though there's been a period of maybe 2 or 3 years when I just simply switched off completely and stopped buying albums, stopped following what's happening in the music world, and lived in a world of silence for a couple of or 3 years, just to try to crystallize what really is ringing in my soul. What is this voice of mine that I would finally like to come to focus?
What would you say was the epiphany for you, if you like, that made you discover that personal voice?
It must have been a gradual process. It also coincided with the previously mentioned period of silence, as I call it, when I was just not interested in listening to outside influences, musical influences whatsoever. Oh, I never told you that I used to specialize in singing English, would you believe it, English, Scottish, Welsh ballads from 18th and 19th century in Poland, while in Poland. And over there we were doing quite well with this program, with this set. But after having come to England, I realized that trying to continue along those lines would be an equivalent to bringing a coal to Newcastle. Yes, in Poland we say bringing wood to the forest. So I had to have a bit of a cold shower, having realized that people don't want to hear a Polish girl with a Polish Eastern European accent singing, Sauvé and Black is the color of my true love's hair, all these beautiful ballads. This was another step in my career where I had to refocus again, and this has been happening several times. And eventually I have reached a period when I just stopped altogether, until I got offered a residency at a local venue, a trolley stop in eastern London, in Dalston. Although before I was a girl with guitar playing all these beautiful ballads, I actually this time got offered that residency as a piano player. But what could I have possibly played, I thought to myself. Bach, fugues and sonatas by Beethoven have been long forgotten. Jazz standards also. So I just turned up to my first apparent gig and sat down at the piano and just decided that things would happen as I pressed the first key. Probably it will lead me to another key, and that's how slowly during these fortnightly events for a couple of years I have managed to somehow experiment and with the unusual way of using the piano, and subsequently also using my voice in an experimental way. I was very angry at the time, having come to England with a degree in music and having to start from scratch, basically. Well, over there in my country, we were doing pretty well with my group, Sauvé. So I kind of, I wasn't very well. I was struggling spiritually and emotionally, and this period of experimentation, I suppose, allowed me for an outlet to rediscover the real me, because obviously I am not an English balladeer by birth. There is something else in me, some anxious spirit that needed to come through. So the music from that experimental period was pretty dramatic. It included all sorts of ways of using the voice, including whispers, screams, and all sorts of unconventional projecting of the voice, which I refer to as extended vocal techniques. But the results of all this experimentation, as you hear it on the album, may be a bit mellowed down because time passes and things get a bit calmer, so you don't hear the same literally crazy Jarmila on this album anymore. But there's a bit of craziness there still. I hope you can hear a bit of it.
Doesn't surprise me that you enjoy folk music, because I can hear that kind of the Scottish English ballad thing in some of what you do. I mean, it doesn't sound like Shirley Collins, but there's definitely traces in there that I could hear, so it didn't surprise me to hear you say that. It's John Cavanagh here, presently in the company of Jarmila Xymena Gorna. I'm working really hard just to get the accent right in that second part of the name, Jarmila. Now, we were talking about your influences and your listening tastes. I believe that your mum was actually in opera in Poland, so music would be very much a part of your life from, well, even before it began, I guess.
Yes. My mum worked until the last day of her pregnancy, and I was almost born on the deck of the opera house in Łódź in Poland. And I suppose that being surrounded before birth, being surrounded by all these multi-layered choruses, the harmonies of the choir, opera choirs, must have somehow influenced me subconsciously, because I can't help but thinking musically in harmonies, and inevitably I end up indulging in harmonizing myself 12 times over and over and over.
What, apart from the opera, was the very early sounds and musics that you remember as a child?
My parents used to take me to this international festival of the Highlanders in Zakopane in Tatra Mountains every year in the summer, where Highlanders from all over the world would come and present their folk music and traditions, costumes, and I have been influenced to this from the early age. I also remember that I got one day when I was a little girl, I got a little radio, and I just remember that I quickly learned how to play with the short waves, and I was tuning into Arabic stations and trying to listen to Arabic stations and listening to the melismatic kind of singing in quarter tones. I was very fascinated by the different colors of those scales and modes.
You've also got a very strong visual sense. I was looking at your website and I see some marvellous paintings on there of fairies.
Really? You even have discovered that little hidden page with the fairies?
Oh yes, we search a bit deeper than most on here.
Okay, well I have to give credit, humbly give credit to the artist who is always looking after all my artwork. He designed the album artwork for the album cover, as well as my website. His name is David Farren, and he's actually also the author of this painting with the fairies. Must have been because I have been fascinated with the imaginary world of fairies, and I imagined all these background voices to be like little. Are you gonna laugh? Like little fairies sort of floating all around me and whispering, singing in my head, whispering to my ears. And I think this is an external sort of visual representation of that imagination, that I sit at the piano and all around me are all these little beautiful fairy figures with wings, jumping on the piano keyboard, or sitting on top of trees all around me. And have a look, check it out yourself.
Yeah, it's a lovely website. Check it out. Jarmilagorna.com is the address for that, and the fairies page comes highly recommended. So what next? Another album?
Yes, some ideas are ready already, but I think we need to find a technical way of getting around it. Although I feel I haven't quite yet finished promoting the current one.
I think there's a lot of mileage in that one, and we're going to hear another track from it. This one with a strong Eastern European influence.
The piece is called Until We Find It. We were going to end on a positive, optimistic note with a message, never ever to give up, trying to follow your dreams, even though, as we all know, it gets really hard, but all you have to show is determination. That's how I felt when I was going through my own little journey of discovering myself through this current music. If I didn't have that, didn't keep that message on the back of my mind, I had millions of reasons to give up during the process of composing, arranging, or recording, or mixing of this album. But no, once you have a dream, you just have to keep going until you find it. So the title is Until We Find It, and it's influenced by. Actually, I went to Yugoslavia and did some in-field research on the music of Montenegro and Bosnia and Herzegovina areas, and I think this is what you can hear in this piece. It's in an irregular time signature 7/8, and it has all these Eastern European, we call it wide voice, very bright wide voice choirs.
Jarmila, it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Till We Find It from the album Hashgachah by Jarmila Xymena Gorna. And you may have noticed, if you're very observant, that I've been calling the album Hashgachah because it's spelt C-H-A-H at the end. And Jarmila told me after the interview that I'd been getting it wrong and it should be Hashgachah, but she was too kind to just stop me during the interview. So sorry for that, Jarmila. That's just about it for Be-Bop to Hip Hop for this week. My name's John Cavanagh. Thanks for listening. Thanks to the Demus Productions crew. And next time round, Elliot Meadows here to talk to his old friend and colleague Billy Hart on the eve of his Jazz Cafe gig. That's next week, same place, and indeed, same time.